Guy's a Hall of Famer. He's getting married to Taylor Swift, having a kid with her. He probably flies everywhere private, has private security everywhere he goes, and he's just kind of running around this fucking Titans game. It was officially a feel bad for Kelce.
From baby rumors to billion-dollar moves, this saga has more twists than a playoff game in overtime. First up, an NFL analyst casually sparks chaos by hinting Travis and Taylor are entering a whole new life chapter. And then, the Chiefs drop a bombshell with a major stadium move that changes Kansas City sports forever.
So the stadium we estimate will be approximately $3 billion. The practice facility will be approximately $300 million.
After that, emotions run wild as Travis's heartfelt letter to Taylor surfaces.
So many unbelievable memories in this tour, but my favorite one is seeing you in concert for the first time, being mesmerized and swept off my feet by a woman who doesn't even know me.
And finally, a surprise reveal hints Mom might have played Cupid all along.
And she goes, "Oh my God, he's the nicest guy. And you know what? He really loves his mom."
Over the weekend, the internet does what it does best, lost its collective mind after an NFL analyst casually tossed a future baby into the Taylor-Travis cinematic universe like it was just another stat on the board. While breaking down the Kansas City Chiefs' crushing loss to the Tennessee Titans, insiders say the analyst went full stream of consciousness mode, reflecting on Travis's Hall of Fame resume, his engagement to the biggest pop star on the planet, and very casually suggesting that the two were already in the having a kid era. No drumroll, no gender reveal balloon, just vibes. The comment came at a moment when Chiefs fans were already spiraling, with their Super Bowl dreams for 2026 officially toast. Travis was painted as this larger-than-life figure who has literally won at life: generational wealth, private jets, elite security, global fame, and a fiancé who can sell out stadiums on 6 continents. And yet there he was, running routes in a meaningless late-season game, trying not to get folded in half by a linebacker. The overall sentiment was basically, "Why are you even here, sir? Please fake a hamstring and go plan your wedding."
Guy's a Hall of Famer. He's getting married to Taylor Swift, having a kid with her. He probably flies everywhere private, has private security everywhere he goes, and he's just kind of running around this fucking Titans game. It was officially a feel bad for Kelce.
Naturally, Swifties and football Twitter grabbed onto the baby chatter like it was a limited edition vinyl. To be fair, this wasn't totally out of left field. Taylor and Travis had both spoken, separately and thoughtfully, about the idea of starting a family someday, and since their August engagement, the questions had only gotten louder. When two people this famous put a ring on it, everyone suddenly turns into a nosy aunt at Thanksgiving. Taylor's thoughts on motherhood have evolved over the years, and sources close to her say it's been a journey. Back in her early 20s, she openly talked about wanting a house full of kids and the magic of pouring your whole heart into another human. A few years later, reality set in, and she questioned how normal a childhood could really be when paparazzi lenses are basically part of the baby shower. The pop star lifestyle didn't exactly scream PTA meetings and school pickup lines, and she admitted as much. On the Travis side of things, anyone who has seen him with his nieces knows the man was already in his soft dad era long before the engagement. He was the fun uncle to the max, fully invested in tea parties, touchdowns in the backyard, and showing up loud for family. Even his inner circle wasn't exactly subtle, with gentle teasing from fellow sports figures and some very on-brand pressure from his mom, who was absolutely ready to level up to Grandma of the Year.
Mom's always had Travis number one. I do know.
Listen, and right now, Mom has Jason number one because he has kids.
That is true. She has said that. She has made that comment. She's put some pressure on him.
All of this hits differently when you zoom out and remember where Taylor was emotionally just a couple of years ago. During her massive tour, she had admitted that while the shows were euphoric, her personal life had been a mess. Breakups stacked on breakups, and music became both her escape hatch and her therapist. The tour gave her purpose when everything else felt like it was falling apart, and her latest album was basically a musical exhale after 2 very heavy years. The songs reflected loneliness, frustration, and that gut punch feeling of thinking maybe love just wasn't in the cards. Fast forward to now, and the contrast is wild. Taylor has found a steadiness with Travis that she hadn't felt before. And while all that personal life stability was quietly clicking into place, another massive shift was brewing around Travis that had nothing to do with lullabies or wedding playlists, and everything to do with concrete, timelines, and crossing a state line. Because just as fans were busy zooming in on engagement rings and sideline glances, the Kansas City Chiefs were making one of the boldest moves in franchise history, packing up Arrowhead memories and heading straight into Kansas with a shiny new plan in hand. Chiefs chairman Clark Hunt didn't exactly wake up one morning and think, you know what sounds fun? Breaking up with Missouri after 5 decades. The whole thing was described as emotionally heavy, logistically exhausting, and about as dramatic as a season finale cliffhanger. Arrowhead, after all, wasn't just a stadium. It was basically a loud, red, open-air cathedral where fans froze, screamed, tailgated, and shattered decibel records like it was a competitive sport. Leaving that behind wasn't taken lightly, and Hunt felt that weight personally, knowing exactly how attached fans were to the place. But timing apparently was the real villain of the story. Behind the scenes, talks with Missouri dragged on like a group chat that never reaches a decision. Multiple layers of approval, endless back and forth, and unresolved details kept piling up. The Chiefs were essentially juggling conversations with the governor's office, county officials, and city leaders all at once, and nothing was lining up fast enough to match the franchise's long-term plans. Meanwhile, Kansas slid into the picture like the efficient friend who already booked the restaurant and sent the calendar invite.
We had a great dialogue with Missouri all the way through the end of last week. Just frankly, not everything was resolved that needed to be resolved. The big difference is we were working with one party here, the state of Kansas, and in Missouri we were working with the governor's office, the county, and also the city. And we just didn't get there from the timeline standpoint.
After political shakeups in Missouri, including leadership changes and voter recalls, things slowed even more. In contrast, Kansas reportedly moved at lightning speed. What took Missouri well over a year to push through the legislature took Kansas less than 3 months to approve in principle, and that difference alone made decision-makers sit up a little straighter. Certainty, sources say, became the magic word. Kansas offered a clearer path, fewer hoops, and a timeline that actually looked like it belonged in this decade. The result is a jaw-dropping plan that reads like a sports fan's wish list. We're talking about a roughly $3 billion dome stadium in Wyandotte County, meaning no more frozen eyelashes or weather chaos unless you count controlled climate vibes.
So the stadium we estimate will be approximately $3 billion. The practice facility will be approximately $300 million. And then we have committed to do a mixed-use district that will have at least $700 million invested, both in Olathe and Wyandotte County, and it could go up from there.
Add to that a massive new headquarters and training facility in Olathe, plus a mixed-use development that's basically designed to keep fans hanging around long after the final whistle. The Dome was a non-negotiable piece, opening the door for events Kansas City couldn't even dream of hosting before, from Super Bowls to Final Fours and everything in between. Fans understandably had feelings, lots of them. Sources say Hunt made it clear that preserving Arrowhead's soul was top of mind, even if the zip code changes. Tailgating culture and that legendary noise level weren't just nice-to-haves, they were demands echoed loudly in fan surveys.
It was important to the state of Kansas that we build a dome, and really as we look to the future, I think that makes the most sense. I'll come back to my comments about building a facility that can host big events.
The goal is to bottle that chaos, transport it across the state line, and crank the volume back up. Financially, the deal shapes up as a public-private partnership, with the Chiefs covering the majority, but Kansas stepping in as a major player. Decisions around seat licenses and fan costs aren't locked in yet, but those conversations are coming. For now, the focus is on building something future-proof, flashy, and functional enough to carry the franchise into the 2030s. Missouri didn't get ghosted. Hunt reportedly expressed gratitude for decades of partnership, emphasizing that the move wasn't about burning bridges, but about choosing the clearest road ahead. And if all goes according to plan, the Chiefs will officially kick off a new era in their Kansas home when the stadium opens for the 2031 NFL season. And as that future-focused chapter quietly locked into place, fans were hit with an emotional curveball that sent everyone straight into their feelings, because the final episode of Taylor's docu-series casually dropped what can only be described as Travis Kelce's handwritten rom-com monologue. The moment unfolds with Taylor sitting there, fresh off wrapping up the Eras tour, casually pulling out a letter Travis had written to her before the final Vancouver shows, and the vibes instantly shifted from pop documentary to full Nicholas Sparks energy. According to sources, the letter was Travis in peak soft boy form, reflecting on the tour like someone who knew he was witnessing history in real time. He looked back on all the insane moments, but zeroed in on the night he first saw Taylor perform, describing how completely undone he was by her before they'd even officially met. The tone was part awe, part disbelief, like he still couldn't wrap his head around the fact that the woman commanding a stadium didn't even know he existed at that point.
So many unbelievable memories in this tour, but my favorite one is seeing you in concert for the first time, being mesmerized, and swept off my feet by a woman who doesn't even know me. I selfishly say thank you for creating this legendary tour and to Robert for making you stop through Kansas City, Missouri. That night, too, in KC was the beginning of me meeting the love of my life.
Fans were reminded of that now legendary Kansas City concert in 2023, where Travis showed up with a friendship bracelet and zero backstage access, only to later air his mild heartbreak on his podcast.
Was disappointed that she doesn't talk before or after her shows because she has to save her voice for the 44 songs that she sings. So I was a little butthurt I didn't get to hand her one of the bracelets I made for her.
That tiny moment of rejection snowballed into a chain reaction that included a little family matchmaking magic and eventually turned into one of pop culture's most talked about love stories, sliding doors but make it football core. And somewhere between all that chaos and destiny doing its thing, it turns out Cupid may have been outsourcing the job to Taylor's mom all along. Andrea Swift quietly nudged this whole love story into existence like a proud mom with elite matchmaking instincts. The trail leads back to that now legendary concert moment when Travis tried and failed to hand Taylor a friendship bracelet, then went home and talked about it on his podcast like a man processing rejection through sports commentary. The headlines caught Andrea's attention because apparently nothing activates mom mode faster than seeing some random guy publicly pine for your daughter in a wholesome way. Andrea didn't just shrug and move on, she went full investigator, calling in her personal chief's encyclopedia, also known as a family member who knew everything about the team.
Looking at the headlines of perusing around what's on the internet, and I see that this guy came to your show and he brought a friendship bracelet and wants to meet you. And so, of course, I call up my resident expert on Kansas City Chiefs, my cousin Robin, and I go, tell me about this guy named Travis Kelce.
Once she heard that Travis was not only successful, but also famously close to his own mom, the light bulb went off. Andrea mentally checked several boxes at once, including kind, respectful, and raised right, which is basically the holy trinity of mom-approved dating criteria.
And she goes, oh my God, he's the nicest guy. And you know what? He really loves his mom.
Taylor, on the other hand, wasn't instantly sold. She hesitated, mostly because the idea of dating an athlete felt wildly outside her usual lane. She reportedly wondered what on earth she'd even talk about with a football player besides weather and snacks. Andrea, however, gently encouraged her to lean into the unfamiliar, pointing out that the bracelet gesture wasn't random clout chasing, but something thoughtful pulled straight from Taylor's world.
It was so earnest. I thought it was the sweetest thing in the world that he came to your show.
Yeah.
He brought you something from your world.
Yeah.
To me, that really said a lot.
That's all for this video, folks. We'll see you next time.